They did not choose mountains. They did not choose fertile plains. They chose water. In the middle of a vast lake, they built a capital. And from that city, connected by canals and bridges, they controlled an empire. This was not madness. It was design. They did not choose mountains. They did not choose fertile plains. They chose water. In the center of Lake Texcoco, on a series of small islands surrounded by shallow wetlands, the Mexica people began constructing something that seemed strategically irrational. A capital disconnected from solid ground. A city dependent on causeways. A settlement vulnerable to isolation. But what appeared fragile was deliberate. Tenochtitlan was not an accident of geography. It was a decision rooted in control. Water was defense. Water was filtration. Water was transportation. Water was separation. Instead of building walls alone, they built distance. 3 elevated causeways connected the island capital to the mainland. Each could be controlled. Each could be defended. Sections could be removed in times of threat, isolating the city from invading forces. Access was not open, it was managed. Inside the city, canals replaced streets in many districts. Canoes transported goods, tribute, food, and materials across a carefully organized urban grid. Movement was fluid. Distribution was centralized. Logistics were efficient. This was not chaos built on water. It was structure layered over water. The agricultural system surrounding the capital reinforced that structure. The Chinampa system, artificial agricultural islands constructed from mud and vegetation, turned the lake into a productive engine. Crops could be grown in abundance with multiple harvest cycles per year. The capital was not dependent solely on distant territories. It fed itself. Food security strengthens political stability. From this aquatic center, the Mexica established a tributary empire. Surrounding city-states were not always directly governed. Many were integrated through alliance or coercion, required to deliver tribute: food, textiles, precious materials, labor. That tribute flowed into Tenochtitlan through controlled channels. The capital was not merely symbolic. It was the heart of extraction and redistribution. Power radiated outward from a city that appeared impossible. Urban planning was deliberate. Districts were segmented. Social classes had spatial organization. Religious, administrative, and commercial spaces were not randomly placed. The Templo Mayor rose at the core, reinforcing ideological unity and political authority. Infrastructure created legitimacy. When subjects see order, they perceive strength. When tribute moves predictably, authority becomes normalized. When access points are limited, control becomes tangible. The Mexica did not rely solely on battlefield dominance. They relied on structural advantage. Geography, when engineered properly, becomes a multiplier. Water slowed invaders. Water protected trade. Water sustained agriculture. Water isolated dissent. What looked like vulnerability was in fact insulation. The capital itself became a demonstration of inevitability. Visitors arriving by canoe or causeway did not encounter a scattered settlement. They encountered symmetry, elevation, monumental architecture rising above reflective canals. The visual experience reinforced hierarchy. Impression is part of power. But no system is invulnerable. When Spanish forces arrived in the early 16th century, they did not simply face warriors. They faced infrastructure. They faced engineered geography. They faced a capital designed to regulate entry and movement. Yet the same water that protected the city could be turned against it. Control of causeways, control of supply, introduction of disease, disruption of tribute networks. The structure that sustained the empire became the axis of its vulnerability. Power centralized is powerful. Power centralized is also exposed. Tenochtitlan eventually fell. The lake was drained over centuries. The city was rebuilt under a different order. But the lesson remains. The Mexica demonstrated that infrastructure is not secondary to empire. It is empire. A capital built on water is not merely an architectural curiosity. It is a statement. Geography can be redesigned to serve authority. Today, modern cities still rely on similar principles. Control access, organize flow, secure resources, centralize administration, align infrastructure with power. The Mexica did not simply build on a lake. They transformed a lake into a mechanism of rule. And in doing so, they proved that strength is not always found in stone walls or vast plains. Sometimes it is found in the ability to engineer environment into advantage. They built an empire on a lake, not because it was easy, but because it gave them control.